Okay, so let's start with the first, creating comment on a post. Okay, so let's create first comment. Okay, and we are done. Second is we need to add comment on a comment. So this should be the comment only. So let's just quickly copy and paste. And let's just add it to the list of comments that is present in this comment that we have got. Oh, this should be a child comment. So let's name it comment.get comments.add child comment. Great. So comment service is in place now. Let's move to post service now, because that is also really simple. So what happens when we publish a new post? We discussed it in the sequence diagram that we'll add this post to the timeline of each and every person if this profile is not a celebrity. So first let's create a post. We have post in place. Now what next? We need to add this post to my profile, to my list of posts that I have posted till now. So profile.get posts. Okay, so I think I missed posts here, which we should add. So let's just quickly add private list of posts. And here we have new array list. And let's just quickly have setter for getter and setter for that. Great, we have it in place now. Dot get posts dot add post. Okay, next what? If my profile is not celebrity, so if not profile dot is celebrity, then what do I have to do? I have to call my timeline service. So I think I should get an instance of timeline service. So timeline service equals new timeline service IMPL. Okay, so I think there are two choices. First, either we can have it in the hot start. We can have timeline service as a hot start, or we can initialize it in the constructor. Right now, I think hot start would be a better thing to do, right? But we can have it in the constructor also. Timeline service, we can have it as private to this. Timeline service dot add to timeline. And so we have the post and the list of profiles is profile dot get followers. I think this is done now. Let's move to like now. So liking on, let's add like to the post. Okay, first let's create a like, and we pass created by, and then we should add post dot get likes dot add, and here we added like. Let's say this like was already present. So don't you think you need to check if this like is already present or not? Yes, we need to check. This profile already has liked this post or not, right? So if a person is already liked, then we shouldn't add my like, right? Let's make a function private check if present. We have a post here, and then you have a profile. And what would be the first thing which we would do? So we would fetch the list of likes from the post, and the next thing would be we would need to check if my like is already present or not. So return likes dot stream dot filter. Here we have like equals this profile of mine. Find first dot is present. Okay, and this would return if that like is already present or not. But you must be wondering, there could be, if a celebrity has posted, let's say something, right, there would be a very high list of likes, like very huge list of likes. So we can do it in parallel also. So we have it, so parallelly the list would be iterated by multiple threads. So now before adding a like, we should check, if not check if present, we pass the post, and then we pass the created by, and then we need to add it. Great. Now you must be wondering that, okay, let's say suppose 2 or 3 threads came in to add like to this post. 2 or 3 threads, let's say 2 threads come till line number 10. Both of them went and checked. Both of them got the result as false. Then both the threads came inside, they created a like, and two different like objects would be created and would be added to the post. Do you think this is right? No, this is not right. So we should handle multi-threading here, right? So what we should do is we should take a reentrant lock. And what we should do is if my like is not present, here we should lock. We should check once again. We should put it here. And then we should unlock. Great. And this is how consistency would also be maintained. For like, if you want to maintain consistency, is it a big deal for maintaining consistency in likes? It could be. You could have this conversation with your interviewer. Okay, he might want you to make the system consistent at some other place, right? But you have seen the concept right here, how we made it consistent and how we handled multi-threading also, wherein two or more threads, if try to call the same, if try to add one like to the post, only one like would be added. There would not be 3 or 4 likes that would get added. Same ways you can have unlike on a post, very same. So I'm leaving it as an exercise for you guys. Same ways like on a comment, instead of post you would get a comment, and for unlike on a comment it would be the same. Instead of add here we would have remove here. Okay, great. Okay, let's move ahead now. Put notification service in our state, because we didn't have notification service then. Every state has its way of notifying. So every state would have an instance of notification service, right? So protected notification service. And we can have a constructor here. Let's generate the constructor. Great. We have a constructor here and we can see 3 problems. All these 3 problems are there. We need to have constructor here. So we need to make constructor. So instead of this, we can take notification service also in the argument. But let's say we are sure that for hold state, we are sure that we want to send email notification. Okay. We can get it in the argument also, but let's say we are sure that we want to send an email notification. And of course, now we want to send the notification. So we have notification service dot send notification. Okay, so description, what should be the description? So you have got a friend request. This could be a good description. You have got a friend request. And whom do I want to notify? I want to notify the receiver. So follow request dot get receiver. Of course, while notifying, you can send few action buttons also. But right now we are keeping it simple, but depends on your use case. What do you want to pass? Same ways for accepted also, we have to make. So let's say for accepted, you want to send an SMS notification. And let's send the notification here. Let's add it for the declined state also. Okay. Great. We have declined state also in place now. So let's go ahead and create follow service completely. Now, again, the same thing like we did for likes also. If you have already sent follow request, would you want to send that follow request back again to the same profile? No, right? So suppose there are 3 or 4 threads trying to do the same thing, trying to send the request to the same profile. Should they be allowed? No, only one request should be sent. So while creating a follow request, we should check if follow request is already present or not, right? We can have this as a private method because we need not to expose it, right? Private if check if present. What will we get? Of course, if the sender has already sent, and this would return a boolean. If the sender has already sent a follow request to the receiver, okay, receiver, and what do we do? So first of all, let's pull out the list of follow requests from receiver. Get follow requests. And now we need to check. I already have a follow request in this list of requests with sender as the sender. So return follow request dot stream. Again, we can do it in parallel also. Dot parallel dot filter follow request dot get sender dot equals sender dot find first dot is present. Okay, so we have it now. So what do we do first? Let's check if present sender receiver. If my follow request is not present, then only I need to create a follow request. But if it is present, don't you think we should throw some kind of exception? I think we should. So if it's present, let's throw some kind of exception. Throw new exception. Let's say saying follow request already present. Follow request already present. You can do the same thing for others also, other functions also, other methods also, which we have made. We have it in place now. Now I want to create a follow request. So follow request equals new follow request sender receiver. And I need to add this active follow request and receiver. So receiver dot get follow request dot add follow request. And the last thing that I want to do is notify the receiver. So did we make a notify function in the receiver? No, we haven't. But we have it in the follow request. We have it in the follow request. So we can directly call the states follow request. We can call it like this also. Follow request dot get follow request state dot notify user. Right? We can have it this way also. What do you think? Having it this way, should we give the responsibility to the state? I don't think we should directly call state to send the notification. I think we should have a function send notification in the profile, in the follow request itself. And then follow request can send or maybe ask state to call the notification. So let's just quickly make send notification in profile. Oh, in follow request. Send notification. So what should we get? We'll get a description. So string description. Or description, not also description. Description is actually, they have the description, right? They already have description in place. So I think we shouldn't get description also. We can just, each state we have here has its own way of notifying. So we can simply call the state to notify the user, right? And we have to pass follow request. So let's pass this there. And here we can call follow request dot send notification, and this is done. Now you would be wondering that there could be multiple threads that could reach line number 14, and then they can create follow request, then they can add the follow request to this list which we have. Yes, they can do that. So I would again recommend to take a lock here. You have already seen how we are taking lock in the like service. This way, it's the same way you have to do it in the follow request also. It's the same way, right? I'm leaving it as an exercise for you guys. You'll get this repo and you can play around with this. Of course, we'll be making the main function also where we'll be seeing if everything is working or not, but you can play around with this. You can clone the repo. If you want to fetch all requests, so profile.get follow requests, and this is done. When we want to accept a follow request, so first of all, we need to set the status of the follow request. So follow request dot set follow request status new accepted state. Now what's next? We should notify. Who should we notify? Of course, we should notify the sender, and that is actually handled by the state only. So we just need to call follow request dot send notification, and it will handle itself. Next thing, we should remove this follow request, because earlier it was active, now it's not. It has been accepted, right? So it has a final state. So we should remove it. So should we make a function, separate function for removal? Yes, I think. Why? Because reject follow request, if we rejecting it, then also it gets into a final state, and then it would remove it from this list, right? So let's make a function and this should be private. This need not to be exposed. So private void remove follow request. I want to remove this follow request. So of course, we have the receiver in the follow request only. So follow request dot get receiver dot get follow request dot remove. I want to remove this follow request now. And we are done here. We should remove it. So remove follow request, and what's next? Now you see sender has become a follower of the receiver, right? So we need to add sender to the list of followers that receiver has. So follow request dot get receiver dot get followers dot add who is the sender. So again, sender is present in this follow request only dot get sender, and we are done. Same goes for this also. We'll make it as a rejected state, declined state. Then what's next? We need to send notification. So we are sending notification, and we need to remove this active follow request from the list of requests that the receiver has. So, and there's no change in the list of followers. Right now, if we see one thing, will we every time make a new object of declined state, new object of accepted state? Do we need it every time? Because if you see this in follow request, we are passing, when we are notifying, we are passing follow request there. Now, if you go there in the state, you see for notifying, our description or our data would be different, and the person whom we want to notify would be different. And we are actually notifying the right person by fetching it from the follow request. If you see it right here, we have fetched the right person. So different follow requests would have different receiver, and it would be notified at the right place. So should we always make a new object of state? No, right? That's not required. We can have only one object also. We do not want so many objects flying around and wasting our space. So do you think we should make all of them singleton? Yes, we should make all of them singleton. We can make them singleton and use it here. So I'm doing it for one, and I'll leave it as an exercise for you guys for rest of the two. Let's just quickly make, okay, and we'll have a private constructor. Let's remove our public constructor, and we'll make a get instance. Again, now here we'll have to handle multi-threading also. We will have to handle multi-threading. So to avoid multi-threading, we have hot start, or we can handle multi-threading also by taking a lock, which we have very well seen in singleton in logger chapter, which is present in the fundamentals. We can hot start it here also. So new hold state, instead of having get instance, we can have it this way. We can have it as a hot start, and we'll make it publicly available, right? We can make it publicly available. Now, what all are the issues? First issue of multi-threading is resolved here, right? Because only one instance of hold state would be created. But what happens is that it generally increases the load time of the application. So you have to take a decision where not to have it as a hot start, depending on the use case and the application. How many data members are hot starting? Okay. In the constructor of follow request, you can see we have. So what we can do is hold state dot hold state, and we would use same instance of the hold state everywhere, right? Because send notification is already generating or sending a request to the right person by fetching it from the follow request. Okay. So now I think we are done with follow request also, follow request service also. So we are done with comment service. We are done with follow request. We're done with like service. We're done with post service. Let's move to profile service now. Okay. What do I have to do? Let's first create a profile. New profile. What will we pass? We'll pass email, password, and ID. Okay. What do I have to do? Shouldn't we add this to our search catalog also, because we have created a new profile. We should add it to our search catalog, right? So should we already have only, we have made search catalog as singleton and we'll get the same instance every time. So let's get search catalog, search catalog dot get instance, and get profiles dot. So we have ID and profile here. So we should put ID, comma, profile. Now, so we should take a lock here also, but how? So we should first check if this profile has already been created or not. So let's say 2 or more threads came till line number 9. They didn't check if my search catalog is already having this profile or not, right? Because if this profile is already created, if 2 threads came in, both the threads created a profile, both the threads have put it, will try to put it in the search catalog. Now, since we have ID would be the same, but there would be 2 or more different objects of profile flying in the air, which is not right. We shouldn't make more than one object of the profile, right? And if we didn't also check here if my profile was already present previously, right? So I think we should do all that checking here in create profile, which I believe you guys can handle, but this should be handled. Okay. Next is search. So of course you're getting the search key, and you should return a list of profiles. So you would have done that DS and algo question wherein you get a key and you have to, and you have an array of, let's say, wherein you get a key and you have an array of or list of words. So let's say you have a list of words and you have to return all the words that starts with, let's say, A. How you used to do that? You used to maintain a try, and then you used to return the words in the list. So I believe you can do that here also, right? And I'm pretty sure nobody would ask you to implement it. Only the approach would be discussed. So I believe this is a good approach, right? So you can get a list of profiles here. What you can do is maybe create a try out of all these profiles, or you can store profiles as a try only and not in the map, in the form of map in the search catalog, right? And whenever you want to add something to that try, you can add, you can have a function there, and you can remove also. You can find all the profiles that starts with this search key. Right now I'm returning null. Okay, but I believe you guys can handle it. This is a basic DSN algo problem. We should send notification also, right? So email notification service can send notification. So first of all, for that, we need to create a notification. So notification, it will take a description. So we pass it a description. Of course, it can take few action buttons also, but depends how you are making the notification. Depends on your conversation with the interviewer. Okay. Now we want to send this notification to a certain email. Email is present in profile, so you can handle it. For now, we are just printing it. You can have all the logic of sending the notification right here. Okay. The same way we can have it for SMS notification also. So let's just quickly copy paste it here. And you can have all the logic for sending the SMS notification to a certain phone number, right? Your profile would be having phone number, so you can send it. Now we have notifications also fixed. Now let's start with building the timeline service. Let's build timeline. First of all, if we want to add something to the timeline, so we should do profiles dot stream dot. Of course, we should do it in parallel because this list of profiles could be very big. So and we've added this to the timeline. Okay. Now let's start with fetching the timeline. So whenever I start my application, I want to have my post all the posts in the timeline. Like we discussed, we'll have two mechanism, push mechanism and pull mechanism. So using the pull mechanism, we'll get posts of celebrities, and using push mechanism, so push mechanism is already pushing the posts in my timeline, right? So let's first fetch out all the posts that we have till now in my timeline, which my followings would have already done for me. Second thing, we should now pull all the celebrity posts also now. So what we can do is we can make a separate function which pulls all the celebrity posts, and we can have it as private. So private list, this would return list of posts. We'll get a profile. Let's make a function pull celeb posts, and we will pass profile in it. Okay, now just imagine that we have got celeb posts. So what do we have to do? We should add the celeb post to this post, right? Now, do you see the same post again and again in your timeline? No, right? So now since you have passed, so all the posts that you have till now to the user, so I think we should remove all the posts that we have in our timeline right now, right? Because we are already sending it to the user, right? So and we are passing this, we are returning this posts. Now the main thing that we need to do is we need to pull celeb posts. So let's first make an empty array, empty list. Now first we want to pull out who all celebs are there in my following list. So let's fetch first a list of followings. Then let's filter out the followers or celebrity followers. So celebrity followings actually, so celebs. Now what can we do is, like we discussed in our approach in the sequence diagram, that according to my last scene, so when was the last time I opened the app, after that, whatever post the celebrities have posted, I want them in my timeline, right? So what we can do is we can first of all iterate on each and every celeb, and we should add all the posts that we have after my time. So should we make a separate function to pull out all the posts that the celebrity has posted after my last scene, right? So let's make a separate function which should be passed here. So let's name that function get posts of profile after time. And what would be the time? The time would be profile dot get last scene. And what should be the list of posts? So post should be this celeb dot get posts, right? Finally, think that this function we have already made, just imagine that we have it. We'll make it now, but supposedly we have it. So we have every post in my posts. And do you think we should return it? Yes, we should return it now. So now if we make this function, we've already discussed that this could be easily solved in order of login time by using binary search, right? This can also be another private function. This will return list of post. What should be the function? This should be the function name. You can have a better naming also. Okay. So first of all, local date time, it would be last scene, and the other should be the list of posts. So list of post. Now, I believe you can do your binary search here and then can return a list of posts. Right now I'm returning all, but this is a basic DSN algo question where you can do the binary search. So I'm leaving it as an exercise for you guys, and I'm returning the complete list of posts that we have. So what do you think about this? Do we have the timeline ready? Yes, we have timeline ready. Of course, there could be a lot of discussion around building this timeline. Maybe if a person has not scrolled all the posts And so he would be able to see that post again when you open the timeline, right? If he doesn't see that post, which we have already passed in the timeline, so he generally sees that post the next time, right? You can have a discussion around that also. Okay, what else can you have a discussion around? Okay, you can have a number of discussions with your interviewer, but I believe this would mostly cover all the questions that you can have, and we have a good timeline in place, good news feed in place. All of it can be done asynchronously. That would be more sort of an HLD question. How would you handle, what would you use? From low level design perspective, I think this is pretty good. I think we are pretty much done with all the stuff that we have, with all the services that we have. Of course, there are few optimizations that we can make, but what do you think about this piece of code? Of course, we are going to write the main function also. We are going to test everything out. Okay, need not to worry. But what do you think about this piece of code that we have? Supposedly tomorrow, going forward, Instagram introduced Reels also. So what all changes will you have to do in, or how would you add Reels in it? First of all, for a DTO, you can have Reels as the DTO. Then what will you have? Because you can have comments also on the Reels. You can like a Reel. You can like a comment on the Reel also. In the like service, do you think you'll have to make like on a Reel and unlike on a Reel? Of course, there would be two different methods added. But don't you think this would start getting bulkier and bulkier, right? Because we're doing the same thing. We are getting a lock. Every post also has a list of likes present in it. Comment also has a list of likes present in it. Reel would again have a list of likes present in it. So we can actually reduce a huge chunk and may need not to handle like and unlike. If we generalize liking, if we generalize putting like and removing like, regardless of whatever comes, we would be in a much better position, right? We'll see how we do it. Reels, if you start adding Reels, and of course, if you start adding likes on Reels, here you would see this. You'll have to make changes to this file, right? Which I believe should not be allowed, because services should be, open for extension and close for modification. But here we'll have to modify. So let's see how we'll make it open for extension and close for modification. Same thing if you allow comments also. So if you will have to implement that function of creating comment on post, creating comment on comment, and creating comment on Reel. There would be one more function. Same ways, let's say tomorrow you have a discussion with your interviewer that, okay, we want to allow people to delete comment also, or you'll have to make one more method in this comment service. You will have to, but you'll have to make three different methods: deleting comment on a post, deleting comment on a comment, deleting comment on a Reel, right? We can optimize on this, where if we generalize commenting for post, comment, and let's say Reel going forward, we would be in a much better position, right? And yeah, this should be good. So let's talk about optimizations. Let's first optimize it, and maybe then we'll make the main method. So I hope you would have got this till now. If you have any questions, you can hold it, or you can post in the discussions panel below, because I believe if whatever questions you have regarding few of the principles that might have been, not followed, you might see it in the optimizations. Okay, so cool. Then I'll see you in the next lesson.